I mean, when you look at right now the schedule ahead for this team, I felt like coming into this game, they really needed to take care of business because guess what? It does not get any easier than this. You take a look here, they take on the the Vikings next week. You got the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers there, Browns, and then Green Bay once again. Jim, the road ahead, certainly not easy at all.
No, it's not. Those are all good defenses. Obviously, the first two deal with a lot of blitzes. Pittsburgh has kind of dialed it down a little bit since they moved Jalen Ramsey to safety. They're not blitzing as much, and they got the big win over the Colts. But Vikings, nobody blitzes more in the NFL than Brian Flores. So he's got to be ready for blitz teams, zone teams. Eagles are just all 11 are good across the board. They pretty much are going to line up at their 1 yard line to the same defense to their own 1 yard line. So everybody should know what Vic Fangio does. He's a quarter or a quarter half guy. So Caleb's going to get a good dose of everything. But let's see where the Bears are. Now, I find myself saying that they are the offensive-generated team. Yeah. You wouldn't know it by today, but last week, and I think they can catch fire and get even better offensively. This is the best they've done in literally the last 5 years. They're averaging about 26.5 points a game. That hasn't happened in quite some time. It needs to be that and more moving forward against these tough matchups.
Well, according to Tankathon, the Bears have the toughest remaining schedule. And, Pat, when you look at the rest of their opponents, out of 8 of them, only one has a losing record right now. I mean, when you look at that schedule, which game do you think will be a good measuring stick on where this team is truly at?
Well, listen, anytime you get to measure yourself against the Super Bowl champion, that's going to be the biggest one. But we know what the measuring stick is here in Chicago. How's Ben Johnson going to do in his first time versus a Green Bay Packer team that is going to come off playing Philly here a little, I believe this week, right? I think they play the Eagles. And so, like, you get this sense of, okay, this is where we are versus the rivals. And the most important games in there, listen, over the next 6 weeks, if the Bears go 3-3, I feel really good. Like, okay, we found a way to get something that works versus teams that are winning. But you got to win some games in this division. Like you're 0-2 in the division right now. You were in a very dangerous spot in the division. You got Minnesota coming in, who's playing a little bit better football here. J.J. McCarthy seems like he's getting a little bit more comfortable with what's being asked of him. I think on top of that, you've still got Jordan Love that you got to deal with up in Green Bay, and you got one more matchup with Detroit. To me, looking at this final gauntlet for the Chicago Bears, the biggest thing is going to be finding a way to get those divisional games. Would love to see you get one of those wins versus the Eagles or versus the Steelers, especially because Aaron Rodgers is up there. You don't want to send him out with a one more I own you still. Like I think we'd all be sick to the stomach at that. But like it truly just feels like there's an opportunity for the Bears to do something really good in the division here. And as crazy as it sounds, those might be your most winnable games in that spot.
Got another viewer comment here that I'm going to read. I don't think the Bears are going to lose another division game this year, but listen, next week they take on the Vikings. The last time they faced Minnesota, right, it was to start the season. Monday Night Football had an 11-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Meltdown, J.J. McCarthy took over. Jim, what kind of opportunity does this present to this team next week?
I got to be honest, and excuse my language, I'd be pissed if I'm the Bears. If I'm a Bears player, I want payback. Yeah. That game was ours, and we blew it. And I want payback, and I think they need to go get the payback they deserve. As for what Pat said, they need a signature win. That would be against Philadelphia. And then I've been saying it all year. The Packers' rush defense is not good. You got to run the ball against the Green Bay Packers. That's why Carolina was able to just go up there and abuse them. They got rid of their 2 best run stuffers. They traded away the young man to Kenny Clark to Dallas, and they got rid of T.J. Slayton to the Cincinnati Bengals in the offseason. The Bears' running game, and they rushed for 171 today. Again, Caleb was a big part of it. They need to continue running the ball like they did last week against Cincinnati. If they do that, they've got a chance to run the table. It's up to them.
Packers, to me, I feel like they've been consistently inconsistent this year, Pat.
Listen, I told you, I'm not a big believer in the Green Bay Packers this season. I feel like they're a team who got some good wins early on in the season, but it kind of was like it's right there and you refuse to take this next step.
They play to the level of their competition.
They 100%. They always play to the level of the competition. They haven't yet become, to me, a dominant team. I think Jim's point about them struggling in the run defense has really been exposed to the entire NFL. And guess what? You got some teams coming up here over the next couple of weeks that run the football really well. Of course, like you said, signature win. Give me a Philly win. Like, if you find a way to beat the Super Bowl champions, like, now we're beating our chest on something serious here. But if we're being honest, Chicago cares about one team, and I think it's a team that the Bears have a lot of advantages against going into this game. Oh, by the way, you still are one of the best teams as far as turnovers in the league. Jordan Love loves to give that football away. We always say, oh, he's only got a couple of turnovers, but those turnovers last week, that interception is one of the worst interceptions I've seen in the last 5 years, and I've seen some rough interceptions in Chicago.